Hi, everybody. So in this video, we're going to talk about the lymphatic system. Now, this first one is just going to be kind of an overview of some of the general ideas and kind of the general concepts, and then also some of the major structures. Now, the lymphatic system is one of those systems that we probably don't hear much about in terms of just kind of the everyday. It's not something that you tend to hear much about, like, say, listening to the news, or if you go to your doctor most times, or anything like that. So it can be a little bit forgotten. It's hard. It's one of those systems that can be hard to have a particular kind of pre-formed notion before we start the chapter. Okay. Now, the biggest thing that people tend to think about is like their doctor checking their lymph nodes back here at the back of their throat, right? So we know it probably has something to do with some sort of an infection. Okay, well, what the lymphatic system is it's basically going to be a place where we can absorb extra fluid from our tissues and return that fluid to the blood so that that extra fluid can be eliminated. But it's also a place where we can hold on to a lot of our white blood cells, as well as other immune system cells, so that they can better perform their jobs, but also so they can gain access to, or at least be presented with, possible antigens and check on them. Okay, so we're going to have these special places where we're going to have really high concentrations of a lot of our lymphocytes, as well as other leukocytes and other white blood cells, other immune system cells in these lymph nodes, so that they can be exposed to potential pathogens, as well as have a great place where they can eliminate pathogens. So if we can send like a whole collection of pathogens to a lymph node, it's going to be a lot easier for us to eliminate it in one place where we have all of the white blood cells that we need to be able to do that. Okay. Well, like I said, it's also going to be important for helping us regulate the volume of extracellular fluid that we're going to find. So if our cells take too much fluid in, they'll kind of push that into the space outside their cells. We need a way of getting that back to the blood, and thus, or as well as getting it to the kidneys so that we can eliminate it. So this is a great way for us to do that. So what are we going to have here? Well, we're going to have lymphatic vessels. Okay, so these are going to look very much like arteries and veins. They're going to be found in the same place. However, one important difference between a lymphatic vessel and something like an artery or vein is that these are one directional. Okay, these only go one place. So these are going to go from the tissue toward the cardiovascular system. So they're going to go, these are always going to be carrying their lymph up to the blood. Okay, now they're going to carry their liquid to the blood in one of two places. They're going to drop off the blood in either the left subclavian or the right subclavian vein. Okay, so they're going to drop it off way up here at the left and right subclavian veins, which will then drop into the superior vena cava. Okay, now we also have valves running through all of these lymph vessels. So that's going to be an easy way to recognize them. Now, they're ordinarily going to be coded in green on any sort of color-coded models. They're going to be usually in green. Now, we can also see these bumps in several places. Now, anywhere where you see a bump in these green vessels, that's what we're going to call a lymph node. Okay. Now, a lymph node, like I said, is basically just going to be a housing center for a bunch of different white blood cells. So primarily lymphocytes, but as well as things like macrophages and dendritic cells. Lots and lots of immune system cells are going to be housed in these lymph nodes. And these are basically just places that if we collect a pathogen, say down here, well, as that pathogen gets moved up, or as those cells get moved up, we can move them through the lymph nodes so that they can get checked to make sure, like, hey, are you a good guy? Hey, are you a good guy? Hey, are you a good guy? And if all of a sudden they do elicit an immune response, we now have a great place to carry out that immune system response in those lymph nodes. Now, we also have a few other secondary structures here, or primary structures here even. We have our thymus. This one's going to be very important for housing, or not housing, but for the maturation process of our T lymphocytes. That's going to be happening here in our thymus. And we know that we also make our leukocytes in our red bone marrow. So the red bone marrow of the heads of our humerus and femur, as well as throughout the axial skeleton and the thymus, are going to be our primary structures. So this is where we make the cells and mature the cells. And then we also have lots of secondary structures. This is where we're going to house those made and matured cells. So you may have heard of tonsils. So we have 3 different types of tonsils up kind of in our head and mouth region. okay, as well as several clusters of lymph nodes. So here's a cluster of lymph nodes in our cervical region, here's a cluster of lymph nodes in our axillary region, and a cluster of lymph nodes down here in our inguinal region. But if you look, you can see lymph nodes in several other places. So like I said before, these lymph nodes are basically just kind of a housing site for particular white blood cells. Now we also have our spleen, which is going to be very important. We'll talk about that momentarily. And we also have our mucosa-associated lymph tissue, what we're going to call MALT. Now, importantly here, it's not just found in your intestines like this picture might suggest. We found it through all of the intestines as well as any of our other mucus-lined tubes. So this is going to be anywhere from our stomach to our esophagus, our trachea, nasal cavity, oral cavity. So anywhere where you can find mucus secretions, we're going to find these mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue so that we can elicit an immune response in these places. Okay, so if you have any questions about just kind of a general overview or anything like that, please just let me know. All right, thanks, bye.